request Nikhil Bhai to please spotlight both the brothers and welcome both of you, brother Enrique Simo and brother Bill Simo. Thank you so much for joining and thank you for being a part of this and saying yes instantly without, because you all really instantly said yes to the invitation. Just a moment. I'll just introduce both of you. Brothers have been with us before as well, but we always have an audience. So let me just introduce both of you and then a poem for both of you as well. So I'll start with brother Enrique, that he's a member of the national coordination team of the BKs in Spain, and also the coordinator of the headquarters in the capital city, Madrid. And he has been practicing Raj Yoga since more than 30 years now, and he's collaborated and promoted many programs for peace and the development of values and spirituality in various organizations. He works as an executive coach and as a facilitator in leadership development programs. And also for more than 10 years now, he's been working in the field of education as well, delivering training and coaching to various school management teams. And we have our second brother. Both of them are also Lokik brothers, but very alokik as well, as you can see. Brother Bill Simo has been a member of the BK since 1986, which also is more than 30 years now. And he is a teacher and lecturer of various spiritual topics. And he is also a member of the national coordinating team in Spain. Since 2005, even he has been working as an executive coach, facilitator, and again, trainer in leadership abilities. And he has been conducting many such programs and workshops on personal and leadership development in various companies. To name a few, Nestle, Telefonica, Volvo, so many others as well. So thank you both of you for joining. And before I pass it on to you, you have to bear with me for a few more minutes. The poem on flexibility for both of you. So today, brother Enrique and Bill shall share on how to be more malleable so that in our dealings with people, we can always be flexible. Let's shift the focus back to self and indeed feel responsible so that we don't blame anyone else whenever in trouble. Because life's journey is indeed marvelous and incredible, giving us many experiences in life which are unforgettable. When we face challenges in life which are unbearable and deal with circumstances which are unacceptable, let's try to face them by making our approach more sensible and make spirituality our anchor, which is indeed indispensable. Finally, so that I can make changes in life which are indeed correctable and they help me increase my self-confidence and feel respectable. So with these few words, I welcome both of you. Thank you so much for joining, and the stage is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the invitation and the possibility to share about this so interesting topic. And well, so many ideas. I had some thoughts and you were saying this one and then another thought and you were saying another. So it's a challenge now to talk about flexibility, because so many good things and deep things. I will start with a little bit of my experience in the workspace, and then my brother Bill will continue with our teamwork in the national coordinator team in Spain, because we have developed a lot of flexibility also there. And regarding some of these questions, how to say, for example, no, and at the same time be flexible, I was thinking, according to my experience, that the more you practice spirituality and the more you are clear about true to yourself and about your principles, then you're becoming strong inside. It's like the tree, the example of the tree, I like it very much. The tree has a very strong roots. So the more strong are the roots, the more flexible can be the tree, even can bow down, but the roots are holding the tree. So the more you work on your spirituality, the more you work on your soul consciousness and the connection with God, you become very strong inside. And by being strong inside, you are, I will use some of the terms that they have come up. You can be very determined in your practice, in your principles, so that you don't want to break them, you want to follow them, but then externally, you can be really very flexible and fulfill your responsibilities. But all the time having in mind very clearly what are your principles and what do you need to do in your workspace to continue to follow them, and at the same time to fulfill the responsibilities. For example, food, no? We are vegetarians and also we cook our own food, and I like very much this practice. So many times in my work, now I work as a freelance, but I have been working in the companies for many years also. So many times I remember in one company, the boss was inviting me to eat in a restaurant. And it was a tradition in the company that when the boss invites you personally, it means that he will take you to a very good restaurant and you can choose whatever you want, and he's expecting you to eat properly. So I was always going there and just asking for a very simple salad and then an apple. And every time I was going with him, I was eating the same thing. So he was really a little bit curious. Why you don't eat more things? Why do you eat these simple things? So I was with him. I was very polite with him. I was very respectful with him. I was saying, yes, I go with you to eat. But at the same time, I was very determined and I was not complacent to him with my way of eating or my way of being. So I think this flexibility in relationship and connected with respect, as Brother Charlie was saying, but at the same time, determination and firmness, not rigidity, but firmness in your principles, it's very attractive. And so he was, instead of being upset and saying, why you don't eat, he was very curious. And he asked me, and then the conversation was about food, but then vegetarian food, then about meditation, then about spiritual life. So finally, well, this is a long story, but to make it short, he became also vegetarian and his wife also became vegetarian. And it was because of the influence of this little incident of being together, eating together, but being firm in your principles, but at the same time, very flexible and respectful to him as he was eating or whatever he was doing. So I think that we have to be very strong inside and have no any fear of really expressing our way of living in the workplace with respect to others, and don't judge whatever the others do, but be very firm on what do you want to do. So I remember also, and at the end of the year, they were organizing a very big meal, no, with all the workers, and there was nothing vegetarian. Everything was fish and meat. So I was there in the middle, and they put me plates of food in front of me, and I was smiling. I was talking to everyone, and I was saying to the people who were beside me, "Do you want more? Do you want more?" So the people around me were so happy because they had much more food than others because everything that arrives to me, I was giving. But flexibility for me means to be happy in these situations. It's not that then you feel, you feel bad because what I'm doing here, this is a waste of time. Oh, this food, I don't like this food, and they put this food in front of me. They don't have order anything for me. No, this is the situation. So for me, flexibility is really accept the present situation. So this is what it is. So don't think extra. Don't create any other thought. just be there and be flexible. Adapt yourself to what it is there. So there is nothing to eat, no problem. Then you have time to talk, to smile, to interact with others, and to enjoy it. And also, and even you can say, oh, you're enjoying your food. It's very good food. You don't eat anything, but you appreciate others. So my experience many times in these situations was that people were so happy with me because they were able to eat more. But at the same time, I felt that they were accepting me very much because my attitude was very flexible towards them. I made the effort not to judge them, not to feel any rejection, just accept them as they are, but very firm with my principles. No? So I think flexibility and determination and firmness are very connected. And then I remember also, I have a daughter. She now is very independent and she has her own family. She has 2 children, so I'm a grandfather. And I've learned so much being with her. When you have children, you need to be so flexible, because if you are rigid, you create a lot of tension in the relationship. So I was not like this before, but when I came to this spiritual knowledge and I've practiced meditation and I was learning how to be more detached, not to have so much expectations. So I was able to really, really, really deeply accept her as she was and accept whatever she wanted to do. And I remember to have a conversation with her when she was 19 and saying to her, I will support you, but you can decide if you want to study or not, if you want to work now or not, if you want to be independent or not. I will support you, but you have to take the decision. So I was practicing a lot of flexibility because I had my own thoughts about what could be the best thing, but knowing her, that she was also very determined and very independent, the best thing to do was to be really flexible, to be really open, easy, and be close to her instead of creating tension in the relationship. So as Brother Charlie said also, intention is very important. What is my intention in this situation? So my intention with her was to consolidate the relationship, to sustain the relationship, and to be close to her. Because if I'm close to her, I can influence her. So for that, I need to be very flexible and accept whatever she decided to do. And she decided to be independent and to study, but also to work. So it was perfect. And I help her and I support her. And she was appreciating. And still now we have a very, very close relationship because she feels very easy with me. She feels that she can talk about anything. I will not judge her. I will not discuss with her. I will not give my opinion. I will not give advice to her. I've learned these things. It was not at the beginning. So I learned to be so adaptable, but the result is when you practice this, then you are close to people. They like to be with you because they feel not judged. They feel that you are easy. They feel that they can open themselves and they can be with you as they are and not pretend to be other people. And it happens the same in my coaching sessions. I've trained myself through meditation to really be inside myself, very open, very flexible, very easy, and no judgmental. And people say to me, one of the things I like is that I feel not judged. I feel that I can be myself. So I think when you are true to yourself, firm in your principles, in your internal values, but then externally you are able to accept, be flexible, don't be surprised for anything, anything can happen. People can be as they are. Then people appreciate very much this and enjoy to be with you. So I think these are some experiences in the workplace. And I will ask Brother Bill, you can share also some of our experiences with the team, coordinator team, and how we work, because flexibility is one of the main values in our way of working together.
So first of all, now I did not salute before. Good afternoon to everyone. Thanks, Manoj, for the invitation. And we were a bit surprised because you want us to go deeper into flexibility, but the session has been very deep, and the session with Charlie was so deep and so good. And we were thinking, no, before, what are we going to share? So you will need to be also flexible and patient, because maybe we will repeat some points because you have developed a lot already, this topic. Let me share, I'm going to talk about this experience of teamwork, which is really, if we want examples of, there has been the question, how do I develop my flexibility? And it was in the slides, it was about yoga, connecting with the Supreme. That's how we really absorb virtues. But at a practical level, in the human world, in the day-to-day life, one practice that will help us a lot to develop flexibility is teamwork. I'm going towards that now, but before, I wanted to share with you a little churning about flexibility. I was thinking, first of all of you know, and this has been said many times, that this is the wonder of virtues, that when we focus on one virtue, when we want to truly go into the depths of any virtue, take any virtue, it doesn't need to be flexibility, any virtue that you want to go into the depths of it and really imbibe it and practice it in your life, then you realize that you need other virtues to be able to keep that virtue alive and constantly with you. And this happens, there is like this network that virtues create among them, and you cannot just stay with, you cannot go into the depths of one virtue without developing many other virtues. And this happens with flexibility. And I was reflecting a little bit that flexibility connects with many virtues. Charlie shared about acceptance, humility. And I was thinking also, as Enrique was saying, the role of mother, father, friendship, love. No, love is also the basis, or it is really a component necessary to be flexible. When there is love, easily, there is flexibility. And the contrary, when we talk about the ego and the rigidness of the ego, I was thinking the opposite of love is fear. There are other things opposite of love too, but behind that rigidness is fear. And I wanted to share with all of you some things I've observed in terms of leadership. When we are in a position that we have some kind of leadership over others, when that leadership is based on ego and fear, it's about rigidness. Then you expect in those situations, you expect obedience, you expect really loyalty and no questions. no reflection about the things that need to be done. It is rigid. Right? Well, there are many systems in life. If we look at the military or that work like this, no, it is like order and command. But sometimes we become a little bit like this. When we are rigid and we are in charge of something, we feel, I'm in charge of this. You should do this as I want. And it is not that maybe you are right. Things have to be done in this way. I'm not suggesting you don't have to do sometimes. But if the other person tells you something, if there is love, we would have the flexibility of listening and patience to try to understand the point of view of the person who is maybe challenging my instruction or whatever. No, so this is I think an interesting point to for all of us. I think to churn if sometimes I become rigid. There is fear. There is fear because maybe my image, maybe my inner beliefs, rigid, are going to shake. There's something that I fear inside. That's something that we could reflect on and see if sometimes happens to us, that we become rigid out of fear. And of course, fear and rigidness are signs of ego, limited consciousness. We are stuck. Eh? We are very attached to our ideas, our point of view, our perspective, whatever. So small sharing about this practice or this tool, because we are, as Manoj said, we are members of the Spanish National Coordination Team of the Brahma Kumaris. So we don't meet very often. We are six members. Two of them are we, Bill and Enrique. And the others are, like we say, sisters, 4 sisters, spiritual sisters, we call them. And first of all, to really appreciate and to praise the wonderful tool that is teamwork. Because one of the aims of a spiritual life is to transform ourselves and go in this journey from ego, from ego consciousness to soul consciousness, to spiritual consciousness. And I can tell you, and probably you have that experience, and maybe you are in teams, really teamwork, proper teamwork is really a wonderful tool to begin this process of reducing your ego and to be more spiritual. And certainly you need to be flexible. I think if you don't practice flexibility, if you don't increase your flexibility, I don't know if you will survive, especially if it is a powerful team where the members are all powerful and they are all powerful ideas and they have their perspectives, and very, very, I would say almost impossible without flexibility. So I would like to share a little bit the process we follow, which is nice. Then you have to set up yourself for working in a team. You have to prepare yourself and accept that there is going to be a challenge to your ideas, to your perspective. And if you go with this awareness and you are ready for that, you are well equipped with flexibility, with really, I think Charlie talked also about that, this mental openness to see others' perspectives, how others see the same situation or the same project or the same activity, in this coordination team. So we have so many topics because sometimes we have to organize projects, we have to organize activities, or we have to manage the finances, or we have to set up systems for the spiritual service in Spain. So many topics. And so the wonderful thing is the transformation that can happen in you, and so much learning, because transformation, it happens with me, for instance, when I come to the team with a strong idea about something, with a clear idea that things should be done like this, but I know this is a team of very powerful souls. So first of all, I don't have the expectation that this idea will succeed completely, but it has been said before, this in this spiritual knowledge, there is this idea of being the child and the master. And this is a wonderful game. This is a wonderful practice that comes out from this spiritual knowledge of Raj Yoga. That is, when you share an idea of something that you think should be done, some activity, some project, whatever you feel that this, we should go in this direction, we should do this, we say it as a master. As a master means with that enthusiasm, with that energy. And for a while, whilst others are listening, you take like the lead. You become the leader of the team because you are suggesting that this is the, you are advising the team. This is what we need to do. This is the program we need to do. This is whatever we need to do. But then the mistake, I think, those who don't have this spiritual practice commit is that they stay attached to that idea. Then you have to retire. And then you have to become the child, because then, as I said, this is a powerful team. And so everyone begins to give their opinion. We have a process of going in a circle. We are disciplined in that. Once I have spoken about this idea, one by one, it is not that we will do it randomly. No, as we do it, we work like this. We do it in a process. Each one is going to share his, her point of view about this idea, if this should be done, if this should not be done. And then they start to speak, and then they see the difficulties of whatever I say, or there is not, it is maybe not the time to do that. It's a good idea. There's always a lot of respect. No one is disrespecting the ideas of anyone. Of course, we need to practice that. We are a spiritual team, but here is where you do it. When you work in a team, you have to practice these virtues. And then what happens is that as I'm listening to them with an open mind, I realize that it is true. My plan or my idea has some imperfections or things that need to be improved. And then another suggests another idea that is different. It's inspired in this idea, but it's a different project or a different thing we do around. And then if it is not clear completely what we are going to do, we do a second round. Right? We keep listening. I continue to share my idea, what I think, but now I am not so I am not so strict or so firm. Now I realize that there are things that, yes, they need to be improved. Well, the funny thing and the interesting thing is that when we finish this process, sometimes it happens to me. I don't know if I am too flexible, but at the end, I change completely my mind and I say, okay, let's do a completely different thing. But the main thing I've learned, and it hasn't been, as Enrique was saying, this is not something you learn immediately, but I've learned to be happy with this transformation. And maybe we have virtue of detachment, because at the end, I am happy, but nothing of, or very little of what I said is going to be put into practice. But the main thing is I am staying happy. And we have arrived to a decision that we are all happy with. And that's really the strength of the team. And just one detail, the team should be of equal power. There are different types of teams, and sometimes there are teams where there is some kind of a leader of the team. I think that creates a different dynamic. But this is a team where each one has the same authority, let's say. So this is where really your ego is going to be really molded and slowly dissolved. Maybe Enrique, you can share, you were thinking, you were churning, you said about the connection between flexibility and detachment.
Yes, very interesting what you were saying. and my experience in the team is the same, and my personal way of being is to be very engaged in something. It seems like I'm a little bit stubborn, but when others know me, they know that I can change my mind in 1 second. So I'm really flexible, but when I have an idea, I say it with energy, with enthusiasm, with engagement, and but at the same time, I can withdraw and be detached very quickly, because my feeling is that when you get engaged in something really deeply, you can feel what is your idea or what is the situation or what is whatever is happening, and then intuition will tell you if this is right or not, or others will tell you also. So engagement and detachment is also, I would say, a kind of flexibility to move in these two areas. And I was thinking too also in oneself, being flexible with oneself and allowing yourself to give you permission. Sometimes we are rigid inside ourselves with our own being. Give permission to change something that you see in one way, and allow yourself in 1 minute to change and see it in a completely different way. Sometimes in the world, generally, people want people who has opinions, no? You need to have an opinion. What is your opinion of this? What is your opinion of that? And I've learned through spirituality that I don't need to have an opinion. I can change my opinion. And it's not a wrong thing. It's not that you are doubting. No, you are flexible, you're open, you're easy, you have an idea, you have an opinion of something. But if the other person gives you some new ideas or some different points of view, I'm very happy to let go of this opinion and to support the new opinion. And for people, sometimes they don't like this change of opinion. So many times I've said to many people saying, I have no opinions. So you can you can have the opinion that you want, I will support it regarding practical things and easy things, not regarding principles as we were saying before. So I think flexibility can be also a quality inside yourself, to have this engagement and detachment, opinion and change your opinion. So means that we can be flexible with values also, with qualities inside ourselves. We don't need to be in one way only. We can adapt ourselves to different situations, different people, different circumstances, and really be detached, but being firm in the principles. So I love this way of working that we have in our team, because it gives you the opportunity to listen properly to each member of the team and listen to an open mind, so you allow them to influence you. So this is another aspect of flexibility that I was observing when we work together, that you say something with engagement and then you open yourself to really listen very openly and allow the opinion of the others influence you. Because what's happened usually, if you have an engagement with an opinion or one idea, you are stuck to this idea, so you don't listen properly to others, or you listen, but you justify your idea and you try to find things that are different with the ideas of others. But when you say what I have you to say, and then you stay back, silent, quiet mind, open heart, and really allow others to influence you, it's so beautiful to see how you are changing your mind and seeing things in a different way, and see things more in a wider way, so that you learn to see with more perspective. And when you are flexible in this way, my experience is that you become very expert and you become very mature because you integrate in yourself the perspectives of others that are very different from your perspective. But you need to do this work of being detached and let go your opinion and be silent. And really, this is, I think, very important. Allow the others to influence you in a positive way, of course, because you know and you trust the others, and you know that they will say something which is important for them. So then everything becomes very easy. And at the end, you feel very motivated to continue to have different meetings because you learn from every meeting. You change your mind in every meeting and you add, it's not changing that you change your way of thinking, you add new ways of seeing the same situations. And sometimes we don't have a solution for a situation because the situation can be difficult, usually regarding relationships. It's not so easy to find a solution or to find a way to deal with that. So we talk in circles. Everyone is expressing their own thoughts, reflections. And it's so beautiful when you do it in a detached way and you are open to listen to others with this flexibility. Others were saying different things, and then we are constructing together. It's like the conversation becomes a connected conversation, and then we allow also the divine, we allow the spiritual energy to be part of this conversation, and also allow ourselves to be open to be influenced by this energy. And it's so interesting that after 1, 2 rounds, sometimes 3 rounds, some good ideas emerge, and the ideas are not from one, the ideas are from the conversation. We allow ourselves to be influenced. We build whatever is the other saying instead of cutting the other or discussing the idea, but we have trained ourselves to build the conversation. So we build together and then new ideas come. So creativity appears when we allow to be open and to be influenced by the ideas of others. And then the energy flows. And it's very beautiful. For me, it's one of the best experiences of working as teams when creativity happens in the team and new ideas appear, and you can see that they are not the ideas of one person. The ideas come from the group, they come from the unity, and sometimes even they come from some kind of inspiration. So I would say to work inside yourself, the flexibility to allow yourself to change your mind, to allow yourself to let go an opinion and to accept another opinion, and allow yourself also to be open to be influenced by the good things, the good opinions, the good ideas of others. And Bill, what do you think about this? You are also open to...
Yes, I do agree completely. And I was thinking together with all these aspects you mentioned, the idea that flexibility versus rigidness is the basis also to avoid, not just in the teamwork, but in your whole life, is the basis to avoid arguing, debating, or entering a dispute. Because I remember that was one of my defects when in my 20s, when I was younger. I was a difficult person in terms of I always wanted to win the argument and to be right. And even my friends used to tell me, you always want to be right. It's like the final word, and that creates a lot of disharmony in relationships. It's something very unpleasant. And this flexibility, as Enrique was mentioned, gives us a space to not to feel challenged, but it's just a perspective. This flexibility, as I was saying, not connected with other virtues, with detachment. You have to be detached. You need to be detached of your of your opinion, your idea. And then you have space to, as it has been said, to listen and to include different ideas. Or maybe not, but from detachment, I can see that still I like my idea, but in a detached way. And no need to debate, no need to confront, no need to argue with anyone, which is like such a waste of energy, and it leads to sometimes to clashes and maybe small or not so small conflicts. So that inner rigidness. So it's so important in life. I maybe just to make a little bit of, create a little bit of lightness, I would like to share a joke, Spanish joke, very brief. I don't know if it will be funny, but it's a joke. I like it very much. Because Charlie talked about flexibility connected with humility. Humility, flexibility. So this is the story of a man who lived for 120 years. And then he was fine. He was quite healthy, 120 years. That was like a miracle. And then one person went to that old man to interview him. And this person asked him, "What is your secret? How is it possible that, and you look very well, you have 120 years. What's your secret? How have you been able to live so long, for so long?" And the old man said, "Well, during my whole life, I never argued with anyone. I never debated with anyone." And the other man, the interviewer, was totally surprised. "Come on, it cannot be just like this. There must be some other reason." And then the old man said, "Yeah, there must be also some other reasons." But the point is that he never argued even till the end of his life. I like it, the story, because so flexible we should be, so that we don't need to confront anything. So Enrique, you want to add anything?
I think also in our spiritual practice, in meditation, we need to be very flexible with ourselves. I've observed that many people who are practicing meditation or spiritual life, they become very rigid with themselves. They become very strict with themselves. And it's not, as you were saying before, it's not that you become careless. No, but flexible inside. Sometimes something emerges, an old pattern of behavior. Okay, continue to your practice, continue to your life, but treat yourself properly, with love, with kindness. So be flexible in the way you are practicing meditation, in the way you are practicing this spiritual life. Remember, your principles are very important, of course. These are the pillars. But then the rest of the things, you need to be easy. And I like what you have said at the beginning. Flexibility is to be easy in situations, with people, but also with yourself, and especially in your mind. Because we know the mind goes here and there. And when we try to meditate, sometimes other things come to the mind. So don't be too strict with yourself in the sense of be rigid. Be flexible. Continue with your aim to be connected, to be soul conscious, to connect with the light, but at the same time, play a little bit with whatever is happening inside yourself. And sometimes we need to, like the river, we need to mold to some obstacles. We need to mold to some ideas that come to our mind. We need to be gentle with ourselves and to be easy, but with a clear aim that I want to connect. I want to concentrate myself. I want to be in silence. Yes, this is the aim. But sometimes, and I'm sure you have the experience, we are not able to achieve this aim. So then be kind to yourself. Be flexible and maybe go for a walk and change your energy. And maybe then come back, sit for meditation, and you will enjoy the meditation. But don't treat yourself harsh and with rigidity. Be also flexible. And I think also another aspect that I want to share is allow yourself to change the way you see things. Be the observer, because I've observed also that sometimes we have very deep rooted beliefs, old beliefs that makes us are influencing all our lives. So give you permission, and this is another part of flexibility. Allow yourself to change something. Allow yourself to be different. Allow yourself sometimes to don't understand something. Allow yourself to don't know something. Allow yourself to be in this uncertain space sometimes, because in spiritual life, we are changing so many things that sometimes we are a little bit, where am I? So allow yourself to be in this space also and enjoy. So I think flexibility for me helps us to be in difficult situations, complex situations, even internal emotional situations, but it's happening there. I'm not sure if I can explain it very well because it's subtle, but you can remain stable. So you are there observing and you are flexible with yourself. You say, oh, this is happening. Okay, I observe, I become a little bit detached from that. But at the same time, it's happening. So you accept, you adapt yourself, and you find ways to deal with what is happening inside yourself instead of reacting, instead of feeling guilty or blaming yourself. So I think the work on oneself is so important in spirituality, to continue and to be consistent, because spiritual life is a long journey. So you need to be kind to yourself. You need to be flexible for so many situations that will happen inside yourself and different personalities that will appear in yourself, and be able to deal with them. So easiness, flexibility, and detachment for me are crucial for being consistent in this spiritual life. So I think these are some of the ideas. Maybe we can finish with a meditation. Bill, you want to do something, or?
Yes, we can have a few thoughts now to meditate. I invite all of you to now take a deep breath. Just let us go within, go inside. Maybe initially we can become aware of here and now and see if any of the ideas, anything that during the whole workshop today has been shared, anything is resonating in my mind, anything that I find useful, I find valuable to practice it more, to bring it more into my life. Maybe some inspiration. And let us now become aware of ourselves as a being of spiritual energy. I am a wonderful spiritual star, point of light, seated on the throne of the middle of the forehead. I am this shiny, wonderful star of spiritual energy. I am the soul, peaceful soul. And so I become detached of my physical image, my physical body. And I adopt a perspective of myself as a being of light. Light is totally flexible, can adapt to anything. I am a wonderful star shining in the middle of the forehead. And by transforming my awareness of who am I can easily now remember the most beautiful and powerful being of light, the Supreme Soul, the Supreme Being, who is also a star, point of light beyond this physical realm in the world of silence. I remember right now this beautiful, wonderful, Supreme Being who is a source of spiritual love and spiritual power. So now, in silence, I'm taking a spiritual bath of these sun rays, rays of the spiritual sun of knowledge. I absorb the light and the power of the Supreme. And with this spiritual power, I allow this process of melting my limited consciousness, any trace of ego that still remains. I let it be. I let dissolve that under these spiritual rays of love and peace. I become soul, very open, very flexible, very humble, very loveful. All of these virtues are blooming inside myself. And I am now very well prepared to enter again the field of action, to enter again this play of life and to experiment with these beautiful virtues. How does my life changes if I move through life with more flexibility, with more easiness, with more humility? Let us all experiment with this in a practical way in our lives. Om Shanti.
So thank you so much, both of you, Enrique brother and brother Bill. And before we end, I would request Sister Shruti to propose the vote of thanks, and I'll do the announcements after that. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Brother Enrique, Brother Bill. It was such a wonderful, wonderful session. I think the chat messages started to pour in even while you were in the second half about how much the comments were starting to resonate with everybody. For me personally, I think what touched me the most in this session, besides all the points, was just the honesty and the heartfelt sharing from your personal lives, Brother Enrique, whether it's your experience with your daughter, with your bosses. Brother Bill, you are being extremely humble and honest by mentioning how you wanted to have the last word and the debate, because I think a lot of us can resonate to some of those behaviors. And it's a journey, and you're admitting that it's a journey and you have to learn. Um, I think those, was something that really touched. And of course, there's so many points that came out. Uh, uh, Brother Enrique, your entire, the number of times I think you talked about detaching and being silent. And then I love the line that you said about listening properly with an open mind to allow others to influence yourself. And I think a lot of us know or have um, been, involved in a lot of active listening, but active listening with the permission for others to influence you, or listening to it with that uh, openness, I think was an extremely powerful thought. And to also think about creativity as energy flow was, I think, also something that was very, very interesting. And of course, learning to treat yourself with love and kindness. It is an uncertain path we all embark on once we allow spirituality into our lives. And to be able to be comfortable in that was some of the things that really resonated with me. And I'm sure with everybody else. Brother Bill, the fact that one virtue is connected to so many others, and I couldn't keep track of the number of virtues you mentioned: harmony, humility, easiness, consistency. And we've been running this whole series with so many virtues. And I was, in my mind, I was just thinking about all the ones that we've covered, and maybe there are more that we need to cover, because truly each one is interconnected. I think the details in which you mentioned how the national team works, whether it's about going around the table, accepting that the team has equal power and authority. We may give titles, we may give people a seat at the table, whether in the worldly and in our work environments, but to be able to really accept that and allowing that transformation in yourself. I think those were just some very powerful ideas I think each one of us is taking away with us. So again, truly, truly grateful, truly, truly thankful for your time today. We're going away with lots of jewels of learning. The session is recorded, and I know more people attended even via YouTube. So it won't be restricted to just this audience, but people do come back to listen to some of this. So again, thank you.
Thank you so much. And before I let you go, both the brothers, we do meditation in the end actually, but that's perfectly fine. I'll just share the screen for announcements where people know what we are doing in the upcoming weeks. So as always, we end the value with a silence retreat. So within 12 hours from now, so India time would be morning 8:30 to 10:30 a.m. and the West Coast time of US and Canada will be late evenings, 8 to 10 p.m. So please do join us. And these we have mentioned here specifically for BK students, but the people who are interested that what is this silence retreat all about, we go into the depth of the value in 2 hours. And every hour there's a set theme which we follow. We have something called the divine versions of the divine being. We call them Avyak Bapdada and Brahma Kumaris. We portray those materials in the form of a PowerPoint presentation. We listen to the divine voice as well. Then we do some meditation with meditation music, and also then go into silence for around 10 to 15 minutes every hour. So that's the format which we follow. So you're welcome to experience this silence, because there's no other way to deeply inculcate the value rather than reflecting on it in silence. And we move on to our next episode, episode 92 on innovativeness or uniqueness. In Hindi, we call it Naveenta. And we have a very experienced speaker, author, and a management tutor from UK, Brother Mike George. So he'll be joining, and it will be the same time again, 7:30 p.m. India time, in West Coast, 7 a.m., same as today. And then we move on into our workshop with yet another wonderful soul from UK, Sister Aruna Ladwa. She now currently serves at the Global Retreat Center in Oxford. And again, it will be 2 weeks from now. So we'll have the experiential exercises first, and then followed by her talk and meditation. And that's our elegant calendar of June Thanks to Sister Kosha. We have Asha Didi further on strictness. We purposely chose strictness with Asha Didi, and then we'll have Sister Shireen and Sister Sukanya from USA speaking on the workshop for strictness. Because strictness also is indeed a value, I must say. And these are our YouTube playlists, our websites, and our email addresses. All these are available, as Sister Shruti mentioned, on our YouTube channel called vihasa.in. And you can feel free to click on the playlist and find out. And we'll be sending you all these materials in the form of PowerPoint and a PDF file. People have sent their emails as well. So please kindly send it to us so we can send it to you. And with this, I'll just stop sharing the screen. And now it's, before we go, it's exactly 9:30 India time. So I will request all of you all to please, if you want to take a photograph with the brothers. So we normally take a photograph at the end. So I would request Sister Garima and Nikhil to please take a photograph. I will also do that right now. So all of you are requested to keep your cameras on.
Just one more second.
It's on page 2 as well. Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
So thank you so much once again, all of you, and thanks both the brothers. Thank you. We're looking forward to again both of you soon.
Thank you.